Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to talk about my monthly goals, or the action steps that I take towards my overarching goals. I have lots of videos talking about my goal journey, starting with the goals that I set for the entire year, my annual goals for 2023. And then just a few days ago, I uploaded a quarterly goals video telling you all of the goals that I have set for Q2. But before we jump into my Q2 goals and April action steps, let's start by talking about March and the action steps that I set for March, how they went and how they didn't really go. So I took a little bit of a different approach in March because I knew that we were going to be in a completely new place and I didn't know how that was going to look, or frankly, how I was going to be feeling. When I set these March goals, I knew that I was pregnant and we were expecting, and I was not feeling good at all. And so I wanted to keep things very simple. And part of that was for the move, but part of that was also not knowing how I was gonna feel and in needing to keep things as simple as possible and really just prioritize what were the things that were gonna be worth my energy, and that even quickly changed. So for the one-time steps for my March goals, I decided just to put every room in our house on the list. Our house, we live in an apartment. I keep calling it a house because it has so many rooms and so many bathrooms. Like, it has more bathrooms than the house we lived in the suburbs. But anyways, I decided to just go ahead and list every room in our house. And I did it this way mostly because I wanted to try and make progress on each area of our house. And I'm gonna go through room by room and you'll see which ones I didn't make progress on, and then check off which ones I was able to complete. And spoiler, it's only one of them. And I think in my head, we were gonna make more progress than we've made in the month of March. And part of that has been how I'm feeling, but part of it also, we took a whole weekend off to celebrate our anniversary. And then part of it is we spent a lot of last weekend celebrating my birthday. So if we had spent every minute we could, or even every minute I felt good, working on unpacking, building furniture and all that stuff, maybe we would have made a lot more progress. But I'm really happy with how March went in the month of March. So I can't be down on myself with the lack of completion in any of these rooms. So I'm gonna go through each one. I'm not gonna necessarily get into all the nitty-gritty of what we have left in each room, but I might share kind of where I think percentage-wise we are in terms of progress. I also will say I didn't check the schedule box for any of these because I didn't actually schedule time for them. For me, these were big overarching categories, and I have a much more detailed list in a Google spreadsheet. So the first one was kitchen, and we have made a lot of progress there. Sam actually just finished building the last piece of furniture for the kitchen on Sunday, and so I haven't had time or energy to unpack the last bit of boxes. So that one is pretty close. Like, I would say we're probably 80%. I would say we're 80% of the way, only because I would say 10% of that is unpacking those last few boxes into the piece of furniture, and then 10% is potentially rearranging some stuff. My mom and my sister have been freaking the best. They have been so helpful, but there might be some things that I want to rearrange. I have not been cooking for the last few months, and so once I actually get into that kitchen, I feel like I will want to rearrange some things, but for the most part, the kitchen is almost there. The next one's the living room. This one, not much. We bought a couch from a family member, and that's about it. That's in the living room. The TV's not mounted yet. We need to get a rug. I'd like to get a floor lamp, maybe some new throw pillows. Like, there's a lot to do in the living room. The next one is the dining room, and this is one of the ones that doesn't even have progress checked off because I haven't even started looking at dining room tables. It is obviously important. That's we want a dining room table, but it's not it has not been the biggest priority in terms of buying furniture pieces, mostly because we've been prioritizing furniture that needs to be built so we can unpack boxes, and the dining room table is not one of those. And that, though, is basically the only step in that room, is buying the table. So even though it has no progress on it, it only has one step. So that's exciting. The next one is the gym. And I said this in last month's video, the living room, dining room, and gym is all one massive room that's basically the size of our old apartment in New York. Okay, it's not that big. It's the size of our one bedrooms for sure. And the Peloton is set up and the weight rack is there. The reason I don't have this checked off as complete, there's two things I want to do in this room. Did I say I wasn't going to go through room by room? I clearly lied. I might move the corners around. So in my little blueprint, right, I'm sure y'all can relate to this, right? I had the floor plan of our apartment, and I was drawing where things were gonna go and furniture, etc. And in my mind, I was gonna use this whole section, this whole rectangle section in the living room for the gym. So it's gonna have the Peloton, our weights, and then I the other piece of it is I wanna buy a thing for the wall to put our yoga mats and our foam rollers on. So in my mind, I had them in certain places, and that's where I had the movers put them. But now that I'm looking at that space, first off, it's huge. Like, it is way bigger. And like, when I look at how far the weights and the Peloton are from each other, it kind of looks funny. And we are gonna need a little bit of like not playroom, because the baby is going to have its own nursery, but I think I wanna make one of those corners like a little playroom in the living room. And I actually haven't decided which corner is which. So the gym is almost done. I need to decide which corner is which, then measure the wall, and then order the thing for the yoga mats. The next room on the list was my office, which I've clearly made progress on, but not done. I would say from like what I need to get to feel good and not feel like the office is still on the list is just this pile that is hiding behind me that needs to mostly go in the closet, but I also threw a bunch of stuff in the closet. The closet's a disaster. So clean the closet and get rid of this pile. Once I do that, I will feel good. There's still other little things I would like to do in this room, but that is kind of the minimum. So that one is like also 80-90%. The next one is our bedroom. That one is so close to being done. We just need the TV mounted. That's it. The bedroom is basically done. Now, that said, maybe this is also, I feel like, an overarching theme. There's like the tier 1, which I feel like we've done most of tier 1. Then there's like tier 2, and then there is like tier 3, which may happen in a month, it may happen in 6 months. One of those things is a king size bed. We would like to upgrade to a king size bed, and that is like, it's something that we want, but not a priority. And so that also includes hanging the stuff above our bed, which I don't want to do until we get the king bed and get it like where we want it on the wall. So that is on the list, but it's also like, I would feel like we could check off complete on the bedroom once we get the TV hung. And so it's interesting because I do feel like I have more than just the TV and the bedroom on my list. But so like, if we had gotten the TV hung before I filmed this video, I would have checked off bedroom as complete. The next one is the bathrooms, and this one is complete. The bathrooms are done. I got all of the like mats and shower curtains and toilet brushes and like all the things that you need for a bathroom for all 3 bathrooms, and they're all done and settled. And then the last room on the list is guest room, which I wrote guest room on this knowing very well it is still somewhat a guest room, but it is mostly a nursery, and we haven't even touched that yet. So those were all the one-time steps. I didn't have any weekly steps for March. Moving on to daily steps. Oh, I talked about this a little bit in the quarterly goals video because one of my Q2 focuses is routines. And so I talked about this a little bit about how routines just didn't happen in March, and you can see that. I literally crossed off PM routine. I didn't even try. AM routine, I did it 3 times. I even made it super minimal, and I still only did it 3 times. It just wasn't a priority. We were kind of day by day in March. And part of that was the state of the apartment. Part of that was plans with family. Part of that was how was I feeling that day? And that's just, it is what it is. And I feel okay about taking this March piece of paper and putting it aside and moving on to April. All right, moving into April, there's a lot of steps on this April list, especially when I think about the fact that we're gonna be out of town for almost a week, but some of them are very simple, and I'm trying to ease my way back in. I do feel like my energy is coming back, knock on wood, that's not like just today. But so there's a lot of steps, but I feel okay about them. Let's start. The first one is related to changing my last name goal, and that is just to submit through Social Security and get that process started. The next 2 action steps are related to the routines and getting settled in the apartment. And the first one is to come up with a cleaning plan, because the overarching Q2 goal, which by the way, if you haven't watched the Q2 goals video, I go into way more in depth about what the goals are. And these are the action steps that get me towards those goals. And the colors, all match up. So the overarching goal of a cleaning routine, well, step 1 is to figure out what is the cleaning plan for this very large apartment, the largest apartment I've ever lived in. And then the next one is to set up the Roomba. And some of you might be like, you already bought it, because I told a lot of you, I think I said it on a community call, I know I said it in one-on-one calls, that buying a Roomba was gonna be my reward to myself when we got the apartment all set up, but we actually got it as a housewarming gift from one of our parents. So we already have it, and I'm so excited. But I did tell myself all the furniture has to get built in order to set it up. So really the ultimate goal for April is to get all the furniture built, which, like I said, Sam did build the last piece of furniture that we currently have on Sunday. I'm filming this on Tuesday, but we do still have to buy that dining room table. If we get the furniture moved and like all the boxes gone, I think I would still, and I need the Peloton needs to be in wherever it wants to live, wherever it's gonna live. I think I would go ahead and set it up. I am so excited. I'm so excited, y'all. All right, the next monthly action step is related to our finance goal, and that is to send Sam a monthly summary at the end of it. So I think I've shared this in a video before. I actually got this idea from Emily Lay. She's been talking about this for years. I think she originally talked about it in a book, and now she's definitely talked about it on her podcast about how her and her husband split finances. And one of them is kind of the visionary and the overarching family investments, long-term retirement, etc. Not only is that what my husband does for a living, but that is him for our family. I am the day-to-day tracking the expenses, paying the bills, making sure all of that is squared away and looks good. And so not the other day, but we had a conversation, it may have been on the drive over here actually, where he was like, I would love to get a better feel of our overall monthly expenses. And I was like, that's fair, I understand, especially now that our expenses are going to change. I talked about that a little bit in the quarterly goals video. So what I'm gonna do is, this also will hold me accountable. You'll see on the daily section I have to track, is tracking our expenses. That way at the end of the month, I can send him a monthly summary. I'm realizing as I talk about this, I tell you, I always get something out of filming these videos, like something about talking about my goals, something comes to me in these videos. In order to send him a monthly summary for April, I can't do that until April is over. So I probably won't end up sending it until the first week of May. So my guess is I won't actually do that step in April. Having it there might be like what I need to hold me accountable to stay on top of tracking, but it really probably will be a May action step to send the April summary to Sam. All right, the next two one-time items are both related to our baby goal, and the first one is to just get the registry started. I don't know why I'm dragging my feet so much, but we just need to start it. We just need to start the registry. And then the next one is to book our flights for our baby moon. I, again, talked a little bit more about that in the quarterly goals video. And then the last one-time step is to go on one friend date. The quarterly goal is just to do one a month, so I have that on there. And what's funny is I actually do have a friend date planned for this Friday, which is actually March 31st. So I was like, can that count as my April one? And I was like, no, Laken, that is March. You need to schedule another one. You have the entire month of April to even if it's like, it could be the same friend, it could be a different friend, like you could schedule a different friend date for April. All right, moving into the weekly items. So even though the one-time item is to figure out what the cleaning plan is, I wanted to pick one action step that I could start now that would make me feel like, what would make our apartment feel a little bit cleaner? And right now that is the floors. And so even before we get the Roomba set up, I wanna make sure that I'm taking care of the floors on a weekly basis. Even just saying that out loud sounds so overwhelming because there's so many floors, but that is the goal. Now, the quicker I get the Roomba set up, the quicker that goal suddenly becomes so much easier. And then the next weekly step is getting back into the basics of moving my body. And I talked about this in the quarterly goals video, that my goal for physical health is just the basics. And before we got pregnant, I was working out very consistently for a lot longer than the goal I'm about to tell you. I was drinking my water, I was doing well, and I let it all go away in the first trimester, which is fine. It was survival mode, and I was eating a lot of crackers. I mean, I still am, but I was not focusing on any of that. I was just focusing on getting through the days. So in April, I'm starting very small, and I have it down for twice a week to just move for 10 minutes. That's it. It could be a 10-minute walk outside if the weather is nice. It could be a 10-minute yoga from the Peloton app. Probably not hopping back on the bike quite yet. My friend Justina, who is the best, she has been filming prenatal workout classes, and she has sent me a couple of them. They will be available for everybody. I think she said May. I'll share as soon as they're available for everybody, but they're longer than 10 minutes. So I don't know if I'm actually gonna do those. I could just like press play and only do 10 minutes. I think they're 30-minute classes, but 10 minutes of something twice a week. Like, I can do it. I can power through for 10 minutes twice a week. All right, moving into the daily items. I have something in all the slots. I have 6 daily action items, and that is a lot. And part of me looking at that is like, Laken, that was probably a little bit ambitious. And it probably is. And we'll find out at the end of the month if it was too ambitious, but let's talk about them. So the first one is my AM routine. And you'll see when we get to the PM, I actually am splitting it out and just doing steps. The AM routine, I feel like I've done it before. Like, I don't know, now I'm saying this out loud. Maybe I should have just picked a step, but I know that I can do it, right? Even on days that are hard. Also, this whole like morning sickness, is not just in the morning, it's all day. But honestly, for me, I'm worse at night. I am much worse in the afternoon, evening time. So that is why I know I can do the morning. Like I can do at least one step of my morning routine and get that check mark. So that's the first one. The next one is related to the cleaning goal, and that is to tidy one room. Not necessarily clean, but tidy up one room at some point in the day. It doesn't have to be at the end of the day, it can be in the middle of the day, whenever I have a burst of energy. Yesterday, I actually did 3 rooms. So like, I feel like tidying one room is a reasonable small step. And then for my PM routine, I did decide to do specific steps as opposed to my whole PM routine, partially because I've always struggled with my PM routine because I've never been a night person, partially because my nausea has been much worse in the evenings, and I'm just always tired at the end of the day. So I did just pick the 2 steps from my PM routine that I really want to prioritize starting with this month. And the first one is washing my face. Now, I haven't been wearing makeup every day. That doesn't mean, like Laken, just because you don't wear makeup doesn't mean you need to not wash your face at the end of the day. And my skin has been so dry. And part of that, I think, is pregnancy, and part of that is Chicago. And so I need to be putting on moisturizer at night. And I'm telling you to tell me, and that moisturizer for my face and my lips have been so chapped. So that is, PM face is important. And the next one is PM teeth. And before you come at me and tell me that you cannot believe that I am putting brushing my teeth on my goal planner, I don't want to hear it. If you comment anything like that, I'm going to delete it. I'm going to delete the comment, because you have no idea what somebody could possibly be struggling with behind the scenes that can make it difficult for them to, whether it's remember or have the energy or the desire or whatever it is, to brush their teeth regularly. And I don't want any comments coming and making anybody else feel bad that they struggle to brush their teeth. I know what my reasons are right now. Some of them I'm sharing with you. One of the big ones is that mint toothpaste tastes disgusting. And the number of times that I've brushed my teeth and then immediately thrown up is out of control. So I don't want to hear it. Brushing my teeth in the evening is something I want to prioritize. My mom was like, just get a different flavored toothpaste. She said like cinnamon really worked for her when she was pregnant. That sounds gross too. I really wish there was just like, actually there probably is. I should look for like an unflavored toothpaste. And yes, before you tell me, I should have done it months ago, right? As soon as I couldn't brush my teeth because I was tired and nauseous in the evenings and the mint toothpaste was making me sick, I should have found a solution to this problem, but I didn't. And here we are, and I'm prioritizing it in April. Sorry if I got a little intense. All right, the other 2 daily action items. The first one is to track my finances. That was a goal in Q1, didn't happen. Focusing on it in Q2, making it a daily goal. Feel really good about that. Not necessarily something that I do feel like I need to do every single day. Like, this is never the case. If you have been around, you know that I am never somebody that feels down on myself if I don't get every day. That's just never the case. We miss days. We are human, life happens, and we're gonna miss days. This one in particular though, I have it as a daily goal more to encourage me to do it every day. But if I miss a day, I just go back and do that day like with the next one and play catch up. And as long as I'm not playing catch up for more than like 2 or 3 days, I feel okay about it. So that's why it's a daily goal, because a weekly is too little. Like trying to do all of our transactions for a whole week for both of us is a lot. Even if it's every other day, I still feel good about that. And then the last one is water. Oh, talk about getting back to basics. I have not been good about having enough water, and I know that I'm dehydrated. Like I can tell that's probably also why my skin is super dry. And so I have this week been tracking. I wanted to write it on here, but I didn't, because this week I'm taking my advice that I give to all of you so often, starting with where I'm at. So this week I've been tracking how much I've been drinking, just like tracking. And then that will help me pick what's gonna be the goal for this actual check mark. I know it's not enough. I'm not telling you because I am embarrassed to tell you what it is. I just have only tracked yesterday. Yesterday I got through 1 3/4 of one of these. So it might end up being 2, but if that ended up being a big day, it might only end up being 1.5. Like we'll see what happens based on the rest of the week. So those are all of my April action steps. Hopefully you found this helpful. I would love to hear down in the comments what is one action step, goal action step that you have for April that you are super excited about. I would love to cheer you on as you work on your April goals. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every week focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, we are gonna run out of space. Check the blah, blah.